always had that something in you where you wanted to strive for better. So describe for me, what has your journey been like in life?
The journey it's been very hard because, I was on public assistance, so it was like, at first it was a boundary there. Anybody knows about public assistance, they don't want you to go so far, or they're gonna cut it off.
When you describe yourself now, tell me, who's Freddie Stevenson, the man that you are now?
A few years ago, I remember in college, they would always have speakers come in and ask us who we are. I wouldn't have been able to answer the question. It probably would have had something to do with football, or fullback for Florida State, I want to play in the NFL. But now it's just simple. I'm Freddie Stevenson, man of purpose.
This is a passion of mine. The whole premise behind the Jazzie Conversations with Jazz podcast is to spotlight the fact that it is now time for you to get your dope comeback story.
Hey, say Jazzie Conversations with Jazz. Say Jazzie Conversations with Jazz.
Every Monday, I call people into a studio and we dig into their comeback stories, because I know that we see people in their glory and we see people when they're on top, when they can have that silver lining to them, but we all go through some things, right? We all go through some things, and I think once we're real with people and we let people know the trials and tribulations that we've gone through, it only makes us human and it connects one of us.
So I just want to know, what would be your advice to someone who is looking to start their own podcast?
First and foremost, let me back up. Find your voice. What are you going to talk about? Is it something that people want to listen to? How long will your podcast be? What's going to be the consistency of your podcast? Are you going to do it like weekly, daily? Are you going to do it monthly? So once you find that, because that's going to indicate if somebody wants to listen to your podcast or not. I do know how I'm doing it. I'm doing it with God. I'm doing it because this is a passion of mine. And when you are passionate about something, you're not going to stop. So it really it comes down to how bad do you want it. Absolutely. It comes down to how bad do you want it. And we have some goal diggers in the building. I know that we do. I know that we have some goal, that's GOAL diggers in the building for episode 133 of the Jazzie Conversations with Jazz podcast. As you know, I am your host, Jasmar Jazz Bennett, mother, educational leader, event host, podcast host, and so much more. You are in tune to this podcast because this podcast celebrates the power of the comeback story. I believe that you can come back from anything with God, the right resources, knowing how to use those resources effectively, and your willingness to do the necessary work. With those combinations, I believe you can come back from anything. And so I want to say happy Monday. It is September 16th, 2024. We are rounding out the year. It's a new week. We have new goals and we're going to have new wins. And I cannot wait to hear about all of the wins of my Jazzie crew. All you have to do is just tag me. I like to hear good news. Look, I'm a person that roots for you. I don't think that there's anybody in my circle. I don't think that there's anybody that has asked me to support them. And I just truly have not, because I truly believe that this world is hard enough. And support is the least that we could do for our fellow man. And so it feels good to be supported. Trust me on that. I know how good it feels to be supported. And so with that support, I see some people who have checked in. Thank you, Cherry. I see you, girl. So you said, say that, Queen. I see you. I see you. I see that Girls Leave a Mark has just checked in. Listen, Girls Leave a Mark Inc. is an organization that I really want you guys to follow. follow the page on all of the social media platforms and definitely go to the website. I know somebody who's running the page right now. Go ahead and drop that website in the comments so that the viewers and listeners will be able to stay connected. The mission of Girls Leave a Mark Inc. is something very near and dear to me, which is why I'm one of the board members there. I am the program director with Girls Leave a Mark Inc. And we are a nonprofit that seeks to educate, that seeks to support, and to offer prevention for teen mothers and women who have suffered from abuse. And so we just had a great retreat this past weekend. So thank you so much to all of the members of Girls Leave a Mark for tuning in. This is a special episode because for 133, this episode is 133. I have one of the board members here, Miss LaTecie Gilghrest, and we're going to get into her comeback story, what she considers to be her comeback story in a second when I bring her on the stage. But I wanted to make an announcement for you and you and you and you. I want you to start tagging. Whether you are watching on YouTube Live, hi YouTube, whether you are watching on Facebook Live, hi my Facebookers, and even if you are watching on IG Live, I'm looking at my IG Live and I see that I have some viewers there. What I want you to do is tag everyone that you know in this particular broadcast. You don't want to miss this opportunity because I am giving away 2 free tickets to my 3-year podcast anniversary live show going down November 9th from noon to 5 p.m. at the Lakeland Well. Listen, this is going to be a day of food trucks, vendors, live entertainment, live podcasts. Some of my most memorable guests are going to come back in the building and connect with my audience as well as some new guests. We are going to laugh. We are going to celebrate each and everyone's comeback story. We're going to take pictures. We have a live DJ. Miss DJ Kim Blaze will be on the 1s and 2s in the building. We have photo booths. I have You So Flashy in the building, and I also have Rent for the Event in the building, and I cannot wait. This is going to be a celebration. Listen, I'm celebrating 3 years of having dynamic, unique individuals that come from different walks of life, that they share one common thread, and that is that power of the comeback story. So I want you to make sure that you definitely get your tickets, but this is how you get your tickets. You have to stay active throughout this entire recording of the show. You have to tag people. You have to share this post, and I will be selecting a winner for 2 tickets to my podcast anniversary live show on November 9th. So stay active. You got to tag people. You got to share this particular episode. It's very, very easy. I'm sharing the wealth because I love y'all and I want you guys to be in the building. You know that if you've ever been in the building, if you have ever come to one of those live shows, you know that it is an experience. It is definitely an experience. It's an unforgettable experience. And I just really thank you for supporting me. And so without further ado, I have a special guest. Miss LaTecie Gilghrest is going to be joining me. She's actually joining me right now. And so, how you doing, Miss LaTecie? How you doing today?
I am totally blessed. I woke up, so I have nothing to complain about.
Goodness, let me tell you something. You are blessed. You are definitely blessed, and you are an amazing person. I'm gonna just share. I shared some news with a coworker. I have a coworker here who is pregnant. I have 2 coworkers who are pregnant. They're due around the same time. And so when you and I were talking this past weekend, I shared that news that you gave to me. I shared it with her, and tears just started flowing down her eyes. And the fact is, her husband works here too. They're the Gadsons. They're expecting their first baby boy. And so when I shared the news with her, because they are so God-fearing, they are just into the word, and it's like they were praying for someone that would be a professional doula, someone that knew what they were doing, someone that they could trust. And so I showed them your card, I showed them your pictures, and they were saying, "Oh, she looks familiar. Like, I think I've heard of her." And I said, "You probably have if you're in the Tampa area." And so you just never know. Some things that may seem small to you are gargantuan to people And you never know how God just aligns and orders your steps with people. And I was just so elated to be able to share the news that you shared with me, with you being so philanthropic, with them. So I want to introduce you guys. I gave them your contact information, so they should be contacting you very soon. So thank you, Miss LaTecie, from the bottom of my heart
Thank
for
you.
volunteering to help them out. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And listen, I'm going to read your bio. I
Okay.
know some people, they're like, Jazz, don't read the whole thing. Listen, I just think we have to take time out to really, really celebrate one another. And you just have a dynamic story. You have a dynamic bio. I see that you guys are continuing to tag people, so continue to do that, because that's how you get your free tickets to my podcast anniversary show. So if you are tuning in, my special guest for tonight is none other than Miss LaTecie Gilghrest. Miss LaTecie Gilghrest is the co-founder and director of Erica's Angels, Inc. And she is also the owner of A Village of Love, Birth Doula Services, by LaTecie Gilghrest. She is a mother of the founder, Miss Erica Gilghrest, and she's going to get into that story of how she even started that nonprofit. She was born in Germany to Mr. Robert and Barbara Hall, and she was raised in a little town in Georgia. I got to say how Medea says it, named Zebulon in Pike County. After high school, she joined the United States Army as an operations specialist and cross-rated to legal man and attended ODU, obtaining her degree in computer and information cyber security. Once she was medically retired, she attended Griffin Technical College in Griffin, Georgia, where she earned degrees in criminal justice, forensic science, business administration, and also cosmetology. Y'all see that? How many fingers do I have up? I'm gonna run out of fingers with this bio is what I'm gonna do. She is currently receiving her doctorate in alternative medicine, and she just finished her doula certification. She is often called, because she calls herself this, and I'm going to too after this episode, a career student. Gilghrest puts in hours in the organization and other organizations that she's a part of, like Girls Leave a Mark, Inc. She's a proud member of Delta Psi Rho sorority. Her pride and joy, besides her grandkids, is her two granddaughters, Paige and Love, plus all her god kids and adopted grands. One special thing about her is, regardless of her health, she or her situation, she will put others before herself and will not allow others to go hungry or remain in need. And so I wish I had like a round of an applause sounder, but I am going to give you a round of applause, because when I saw that you started advertising for this podcast episode, and I just saw like the thanks and the gratefulness that you showed on that post, I just saw how everybody started trickling down and saying great things about you and how much you deserved all of the blessings that are coming your way. And I just want to say, Miss LaTecie, how in the world do you do it? Tell me, how do you do it? One superwoman to another. People ask me how I do it, but no, ma'am. How do you do it?
With the grace of God. I put God first. If it wasn't for him, it wouldn't be me. It would not be no Erica's Angels. It would be nothing.
Yeah,
Um, I have to push and keep pushing to keep going, but with him leading me.
yeah,
And I can't say that I've been this way the whole time. It's taken my village to help me get to realize that without God is nothing.
yeah, yeah. I had someone, and I always go back to this. I had someone to tell me, Jazz, like your podcast, you should change like the format, and you should just be like a Christian podcast, because, you always give homage to God, etc. And I don't feel like you just have to be a niche. Like I never just wanted to go to a niche just because I'm saying something about God. Like God is in hip hop. God can go in any corner of this world. And so it was just me. When I reflected on my comeback journey, I knew that I had to say that God got the glory first. Like if it was not for him, there would be no comeback story. There would be no podcast right now. And so for you to say that you are doing all of these philanthropic measures that you're doing, that you are supporting your community, and it is basically by the grace of God, even through your health, even through anything that goes on in your life, you come back and you give homage to God. And I just say, just thank you for that, because there could be someone out there, that's struggling, that doesn't know if they should trust God. Like, is it really that deep? Is it really that important? And yes, like sometimes we have to live a little bit on this earth to see how much God has such a huge role in our lives. But I feel like once you get it, you hear Steve Harvey talk about it all the time on his show. Once you get it, I think you'll truly see the fruits of your labor and the fruits of you being obedient. And I'm gonna just share something with you. When I told my coworkers about what you wanted to do for them, I I kind of teared up a little bit, and I was like, you know what? I am always sharing great news with people, and they'll tell me how they prayed about it, and like how God is so faithful. And then here I am, I'm Miss Bag Lady, because I feel like I got to carry this. Like, God, I got to fix it. I got to do it. I got to do it. And I'm like, you would think that with me seeing how he blesses people in their obedience, that I would just find it so easy to put these bags down and stop trying to do it myself. But no, I struggle with it because I think I can do it. Like, I know God just be like, all right, boo. You have it. You think you can have it? Yeah, you go ahead and you deal with that. Just holler at me. Holler at your boy when you ready. I think that's what he
Yeah,
really says. Like, do you go through that? Like, do you still go through that, or is that
I
something that you've
still
kind of grown out of?
no, I still go through it. I go through it constantly. Like I have, how they say, I have trust issues of letting someone else do it because I'm scared that they're not going to do it efficiently like I need it done. So I like to take the lead. And for example, her name is Jasmine, and she's always fussing at me. You can't do everything by yourself, and I understand it at times, but then other times I'm like, I just need to get it done. So I still, I'm a work in progress in that area.
So it's okay. It's okay. If you
It's
guys still
okay.
struggle with that, we're human, and we think we got it, but we gotta, because in all honesty, now they say that faith without works is dead. So we gotta put in our portion, but it's just that trust part. We gotta trust that God is gonna align us with the right people to help us, get what he wants us to get done. So I get that when you say it's like a trust thing. Look, I totally get it. Like, I have literally, like, the major logistics with this podcast, from things like trying to grow the podcast. I've picked up the brunt and done it myself, because it's like, do I really trust somebody with my promotions? Do I really trust somebody
Right.
here? Do I really like it? So I get it. I get it. And so, we just got to have that trust. If we're going to believe them, we got to believe them, hands down. And so I want to get into all of the great things that you have going on. Let me just start off with how we met, and then how we are offering service together. It is such a joy, and it is just such a pleasure to hear from you, to hear your wisdom when we are with Girls Leave a Mark Inc. I'm grateful
Yes.
that Simone created such a dynamic group of women that can come together to service our teen moms and our women who have suffered from abusive situations. And she's created a dynamic group, a dynamic
Yes.
nonprofit. And so getting to know you has been a blessing for me, because you have all of these ideas. It's like, oh, I know a grant for that, or I know a person for that, or I've helped someone to do this. And it's a breath of fresh air. Like, there's someone that's well elevated over me in areas, and I appreciate it. Like, thank you for just being dynamic. So how did
Thank
this come to
you.
be? How did you become Miss Dynamic, Miss TC? How did Miss TC get here?
Well, it wasn't easy. I'm gonna tell you because I'm a type of person who sit back and not very I'm not the type of person to be in the spotlight. I like to be in the back. So by me being in the back and observing, that's how I notice things. I notice people, and I said, okay, I need to network with this person. I need to get to know this person because they have knowledge of what I need. So I'm a back. I don't like being in the front. I like being in the back to watch and observe, and that's how I became to know, like, okay, I can talk to this person and get this. I can get information from that person, and then just being a part of my daughter, running my daughter organization, that brought more people into my in my area, and I'm able to talk a little bit more and find out more people and just being in the community, and that's how I got to where I'm at now.
Yeah, yeah. So you coin yourself as being this lifelong student. And
Oh,
I, I'm like cybersecurity, cosmetology, criminal justice. You're getting a doctorate right now in alternative medicine. Tell me about each one of those. Like how did all of those come to be? Why all of those different professions, different tracks? Tell me about how you got there.
I'm gonna be straight honest with you, okay? I did not like school when I was in high school. I did not like it. I'm gonna be so honest. But once I went into the Navy and I was getting all this free GI Bill, free education for this, I said, you know what? I'm not gonna let it go. I'm gonna use it to the everything that I can, and I'm gonna just take up stuff. So while I was in the service, I took up some classes and took up some courses. Then when I got out and I found out the GI Bill, not only did it pay for my school, but it would put money in my pocket while I'm working. I'm like, oh, okay. So I went to the local school and I found out the different programs they had. And actually was taking criminal justice and forensic science together. It was a dual. And I
Okay.
said, okay. Once I got to like towards the end of that, I picked up cosmetology, and then I picked up the business with that. So I'm like, let me just get everything that I can. I graduated with all of that. Then I was just sitting at home. I was talking to my daughter because she's in school for psychology with a minor in sociology and forensic science, and she started talking about the holistic side of it. So I went, for real? She's like, yeah. I said, well, how about if I go back to school, get my alternative medicine? We can go into business together. You do the psychology part, and I can do the holistic side. And plus, I'm learning the holistic side for my own health, for
Yeah.
my husband's health, and also to be able to help veterans instead of going the traditional medicine way that's really breaking down and killing our bodies, that I can help veterans and other people with the alternative medicine side of it.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting because that's something that I did not know. And you're not just getting a bachelor's degree, you're getting a master's degree in this. And so, we are embarking and we're coming up on the month of October, which is breast cancer awareness month. And we have all of these other, months that pay homage to it. Talk to me about the way it makes you feel when you're learning about all these alternative medicine methods in comparison to your own diagnosis, and if you don't mind sharing what diagnosis you have.
Baby, I don't mind sharing because when I tell you my testimony, we don't have enough time to talk about my testimony. So I don't mind sharing. My health issues is one, I battle cancer. Two, lupus. Um, RA, MS. Considered a deadly diabetic. In other words, I can be talking to you and my sugar can drop to 40. I can be talking to you and my sugar goes to 1300. Um, that's just a taste of what's going on with me.
Hmm.
And by me doing chemo and radiation, it is just tearing my body down, but the cancer is still spreading. So I started thinking, I'm like, I'm doing all this different stuff. I'm taking all this different medicine for all this stuff. I'm still in pain. It's still spreading. Nothing happening. So why don't I start doing something herbally? Tired of my hair falling out. Tired of being tired, fatigued, not being able to get out the
Right.
bed because I'm in so much pain. And So I wanted to learn more of that and less of the traditional medicine.
Right. What's one of the most interesting things that you have found out about majoring in alternative medicine that the average person just doesn't know?
So many things that's growing in your yard, like the mango leaves. Didn't even know that you could boil mango leaves and it helps with your diabetes.
Oh wow. I didn't know
It's
that.
Yeah, I learned that. Um, it's just so many different things in your yard that, like the Japanese called the Japanese plum. That right there
I love me some
helps.
Japanese plum now.
It helps with diabetes also and cancer.
Okay.
So it's
Awesome.
just so many. It's so many different things I did not know until I got into these classes.
Yeah. I heard you say that you didn't mind sharing your diagnoses at all because it's a part of your testimony. And when I hear people like that, like I'll hear um people who are going through their battles because I sit here and I play what if. Like sometimes I sit here and I'm just like, Jazz, why on earth are you even think about this? Because I try to just prepare my mind for a what if scenario. And I'm like, well, what if I'm diagnosed one day, with cancer and I'm still trying to raise my boys or I won't be here? Like what would that feel like? What would that look like for me? And then I'm just like, I always go back to a message that I heard in church one time. And it was when the pastor gave a personal experience to someone that was full of life, someone that was all about the community. They helped people. They rescued several people. It's like he and his wife, um, I think they even adopted kids. It's like they were just living this life that everyone would just be like, wow, you guys are such blessings. But he ended up getting a terminal illness. And throughout his entire process with that, the pastor was just talking about how he never saw it as something detrimental. He looked at it as an opportunity for him to get closer to God. Like this was his opportunity to be put through the test, to really just see how much he could lean and depend on God. And I don't know the outcome of it, just because I just can't remember, and I don't want to put like a happy bow tie on it. But what I do remember is the pastor just being so convinced and just so wild that this man never faltered. Like everything, he was inspiring people left and right. Like, oh my God, if you in your test, if you in your storm can still hold on to God's unchanging hand and you still believe and you still have faith and you see this as your opportunity to get closer to him, that is such an inspiration. So Miss TC, like when I hear you, when I see you, because I see when you're tired, like I see and I hear, certain obstacles that you may be going through. I see you as this beacon of light that just keeps going. Like I never hear you sound defeated. Like I never see it. And I want to just know, how do you view this? Because you do so many great things for people. You have such a kind heart. How do you view the things that have been presented to you in life right now?
So a little backstory is my aunt, her name was Benna Ruth. She had breast cancer. Um, I remember they gave her 3 to 6 months to live. She lived 6 to 8 years, and I watched her never give up.
Mhm.
You would never know that she had cancer because she kept going. She just kept going as if she never knew. So I take that, and also her belief in God, her mustard seed, the faith, the little mustard seed of
Yeah.
faith that she had, and I watched all that. So when I got diagnosed, I'm like, you know what? If she went through what she went through and did it, I can do it too. So I run with that. And then I had my mom. I see my mom battle cancer, and she when we found out it was 2 weeks before she died. She did not let us know. I
Mhm.
had no idea she knew because she was going and kept going and was
Wow.
working, and you never knew. My aunt, she just died. My mom died 2 years ago. My aunt died last year in September. I'm sorry. She's like a mom to me. And she was battling it. And when she found out she had pancreatic cancer, and we all know pancreatic cancer is like a quick death. But guess what? She still lived. She was still going into the very end. So following all that and having all these strong women and their faith, and I kept seeing how they kept going, I had no choice but to do the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's huge. It's big. Has your faith grown through this process?
Yes, my faith. Let me let you know. I'm not gonna sit here and say that my faith. I did not question God. I'm not gonna. At one time, I was angry.
Yeah.
I was angry. You took my aunt. You took my mom. You took my other aunt. Here I am with cancer. Why me? Why this fight? You got so many people out here that's not trying to help nobody, that's just mean and nasty. Here I am trying to help everybody, and through all these diseases. I was angry at one
Right.
point. Then I had to sit back with, girl, God did this for a reason. He's giving you a testimony because you don't know who needs to hear it. You don't know who you're going to help. So I had to step back for a minute. And like in my post, you see people I said thank you to that prayed with me, that talked to me, and was there. And I was hot headed at times, I'm not gonna lie, but just them being there and talking to me and keeping me level head is what got me through, and what is still keeping me go through.
Yeah. So your tribe is ultimately important. Like your tribe is important when you're going through your trials and your tribulations. Do you feel that how do you feel about this particular point? Because I always said, if I ever got sick, of course, the people that I feel that would have been meant to be in my life would be those people that would never leave me through those obstacles. But do you feel like it in any circumstance, like if people ask you how to show up for you, and you don't necessarily say, I need your presence, but I just need your prayers. Do you feel a certain way about people that didn't come close to you or are in like close proximity to you, that they just tell you that they pray for you like you ask them to? Like, what's your take on that? Like, through your struggle, how do you want your tribe to show up for you?
So anybody that knows me will tell you I'm very private. Like it's hard for me to ask anybody for anything.
Yeah.
So when they do ask me, like, what do you need? What can I do for you? Continue to pray for me. That's all. Continue to pray for me. That's all I ask. Continually to genuinely, that's the main thing. Genuinely pray
Genuinely.
for me. Pray for me.
Yeah.
Don't pray for me just to pray. Genuinely pray for me.
I'm gonna tell you
And that's all I
something.
need.
Listen, I'm gonna just tell you something right now. Like that word, I feel like I've been saying it ever since like last year. I feel like I have just sprinkled a little emphasis on, I really need for you to be genuine. Brittany is saying, amen. Genuine prayers are key. Thank you guys. If you just checked in, Cherry is still on. Brittany's still on. Natalie is still on. Remember, I told you to be able to get those tickets to the 3-year podcast anniversary live show. You had to be live the entire time of this podcast. You have to tag people in the comment section to make sure they are watching, and you have to share this out. So that's how you are in the running, and you stay in the running to get a pair of tickets for the 3-year podcast anniversary live show that will be going down on November 9th from noon to 5 p.m. at the Lakeland Well. But back to what I was saying about this genuine concept. I throw that genuine in on there because I've seen people that present themselves well. They present themselves as if they are genuine, because in certain circles, it just doesn't make sense for them to go against you, since you're kind of talking to the same people in the same circle, or you're part of the same organization, what have you. It just doesn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense that they show you who they truly are. So they show up wrapped in this beautiful Christmas decorative wrapping paper. And it's not until you get down to the nitty gritty, the hardcore things, and you see the things that they are involving you in versus the things that they are not, that you really see, well, are you really being genuine, or are you trying to put up a facade to make it seem like you are this type of person? So, I say this and I want to make this disclaimer. Like, I apologize, but then I actually don't. Like, I wanted to say I apologize to anybody that when I say I just want to make sure you're genuine, that it offends. But I'm going to say publicly, I don't. I don't apologize for that, because I am very clear about that. I am very direct about that. This life is tough. This life is heavy. We have people who are going through health crises. We have people who are struggling financially. We have people who are struggling mentally. And it is just, we don't have time. We don't have time for disingenuine people. Like, I just want people around me who want to be around me, who don't want anything in return. You just want to be there, like, genuinely. If God tells you help her, you help her. If you see the need and you fill in, like, I just need those people. And so we
You have
are
to be
in this
careful.
go ahead, Miss TC.
You have to be careful also of whom you ask to pray for you.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful. You have to sit back and observe in organizations, in friends, families. I don't care who it is. You have to observe them, because, like you said, they're wrapped in this wrapping paper and covering up
Yeah.
their flaws, and a lot of people is not really happy for you. So you have to watch who you ask to pray for you, because those could be praying for you to make it, and you can have those that's praying for your downfall.
And see, Miss TC, see if you can turn your car light on. There you go.
There we go.
Miss
I'm
TC,
sorry.
this is what I was thinking about. I was just like, are there really people that would really pray for your downfall? Like, how I hear that all the time. Like, you got to be careful about, even energies, like who you allow to touch you, who you allow to hug you, because some people will just transfer that negative energy to you. But I was like, there are people who are in their right minds that would literally get on their knees, literally close their eyes, put their hands together, and literally pray for another person's downfall? Like, say it isn't so. Like, I can't even, I don't
They
even know
envy
how
you.
to even open my mouth to even think to say, no, I'm praying for your downfall. Like, I don't even know what that sounds like. That's just crazy to me.
You have people that's jealous and envy you. They want to be where you're at, and instead of putting in the work to do what they gotta do like you did, they're gonna see you fall. And it's
And
sad,
and
but it still happens.
and exactly. I just and I'm gonna just be very transparent. Like, there are people like, and there are people that have, like, literally told me, like, even people from high school, like, and if I wonder why we're not really friends to this day, and it's like, it's Jazz, well, because you've just always been go 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 go, and it's just like, I felt like you left us behind or whatever, and I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, there is really literally no room in my space for you to think that way. Well, you can think that way, but here's the thing. Like, I'm so inclusive. Like, I try to include people on things until I start to see that they don't include me. Like, it's like, well, I like to be invited too. Like, strong people need that support as well. And it's like, my ultimate goal has always been for people in my circle to experience everything that I've experienced. And I've always wanted to experience what they experienced too. Like, it's not a man that's left behind. Like, I've always been a go-getter, but I've never just excluded people. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like sometimes people just treated me differently because of these goals that I had. But it's just like, yeah, who I'm going hard for, and I know you can be a testament to this, like with your daughter and your granddaughters and your god kids. I'm going hard to create a great life for myself and my babies. Like, when we say this coin phrase, generational wealth, well, how do you think you get it? You don't get it by just not doing anything. You get it by being a great person, but you do it by the grit that you have. You have to be a go-getter. Like you have to go out and accomplish these things. Like that's the only way that that you're gonna make it. And so have you experienced like just weird energies when you really the only mission that you're on is just to make somebody else's life better?
Yes, yes, several times
Ain't
currently.
nobody talked about our Miss TC. People be talking about you, Miss TC.
Yes, yes,
Who
yes.
are they?
Because they don't.
So we, all these people in this chat, so we could just get on their case because my God.
It's okay because God got the last word. He got the last word. So I put it in God's hand. But yes, um, because they don't understand me. That's how I look at. They don't understand me. They really don't know me to judge me.
Right.
Or I mean, you know of me. You know of me, but you don't
Yes.
know me. So if you get to know me, you'll understand me, and you would know that my heart is not is so. My heart is giving. I would take the shirt off of me and give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
And they don't understand. Like they don't understand the way I work. They don't understand the way I move, and I move in silence and in peace.
Yeah.
And you really don't. They don't understand that. I'm not
Now
a
I would
very big talker.
I really can't say that. Like the times that I've been around you, like you literally you really sit back in the cut, like you're so relaxed. And then it's like boom. Miss Tc's gonna hit you with some knowledge. Like she's gonna give you something that's like she dug deep. And now sometimes you don't even dig deep. It's just like, oh yeah, I know this person, or if you do this, or if you do that, it's like you are a wealth of knowledge. And it's like I see that. I see that. And I resonate with that because I resonate with that. And so I wanted to segue into this mighty work that you were created on this earth to do. Talk to me about this phenomenal nonprofit that your daughter started, that you assisted your daughter with starting when she was like seriously in elementary school, and now she's grown. Like, talk to me about Erica's Angels Incorporated. How did that come to be?
Okay, so it started on her birthday, and we was in Georgia, and she had just turned 8 years old. We was going to Walmart, and it was a homeless guy sitting outside of Walmart. She had all her birthday money and cards and stuff. We were finna go spend and buy her some things. And me and my husband was walking her in, and she veered off going towards the homeless guy. And I'm like, no, 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 baby, you can't do that. She's like, no, because God told me to go talk to him. So I looked at my
Hmm.
husband. I said, okay, let her be obedient, but I'm going to step back
Right.
and watch. She went up to him and asked him, was he hungry? And did he need anything? He said yes. She went inside Walmart, bought him hot food. She bought him canned goods, other food, hygiene products, socks, and a blanket. We went back out. She gave it to him. She gave him the rest of the money and the gift card she had and told him, have a nice day. Got in the car. She's like, Mommy, we got to do this more often. I looked at my husband like, okay, what do you want to do? Let's start with sack lunches. And that's what we did. We started making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, bologna sandwiches, ham sandwiches, and putting other things in little sack
Yeah.
bags and giving it to people in the community.
Yeah.
When we moved to Florida, that's when it just took off because we had people that was behind us. And it wasn't a lot, but we had certain people. I'm gonna say thank you. It was one was at Woodmont Middle. It's called Woodmont Charter School. She was going there, and we met some great people. Was it Tasha Richards and Shaquana Reed? They're part of Sister Lift. They was there. They helped us get these started. So we start making sack lunches, having the kids help make the sandwiches and all the things there. We started Thanksgiving baskets where we were giving the families turkeys and all the real things for Thanksgiving, like bunches of collard greens,
Oh
um,
wow.
cornmeal, onions, potatoes. So it started there, and then we started doing back to school bashes and Christmas stuff and feeding the homeless and stuff like that.
That
Now
is
she's
amazing.
21. Yeah.
You know what? That is so amazing. So from at the age of 8, and she's now 21 years old. I cannot even, like, if you had to put like a number on it, how many people do you think you've helped in that span of time?
I
I
can't
know I'm
even.
asking something difficult.
I could even because look, I don't know, and it's because we have so many people, homeless people, period, in the city, that like if I pull up in my truck, they are, oh, that's Miss T. We
That's
finna
Miss
eat,
TC.
y'all. We finna eat, y'all. Yeah. And so, and not we work with the school system with social workers in the school systems. So they identify families that's truly in need at Thanksgiving and
Right.
Christmas. So I can't even put a number
Girl, you
from back to
have,
school
look,
baskets and stuff. It's like, oh, I don't know.
it's like, you know how you have some people, it's like, girl, you already done made it into heaven. You good, you good. But I get it. It's just, it's, it's an ongoing process, but just the impact, and then you're passing that on to your daughter, like from generation to generation, and I know that that's going to be something that she'll pass on, to her lineage as well. And I just feel that we are here to give back to our community in some sort of capacity. I feel that with whatever work you do, I think it's a charge that we have. Like the mission at the school that I'm at right now. One of our missions is to, encourage our kids, to give them a challenging curriculum, but to also make them citizens that come back and care about their community. Like, it is so important. Like, our 8th graders have community service as their field trip theme. So all field trips that they do deal with community service. Like, I'm heavy on community service, and have always tried to teach my kids to give back to the community, to the community as well. And so, like, I'm just sitting here and I'm like, okay, from 8 years old all the way to 21, like, I can imagine what her resume looks like. Like, if she, I know she has chords for high school. Like, I know that she was able to write a bomb essay when it was time to go off to college, if that's what she decided to do. But more so than
Yes.
that, you planted that seed, and you afforded her the opportunity to have her seed grow from the age of 8 to 21. That's over 13 years, over 13 years of just philanthropy and selflessness. Talk to me about the good people that you've met along the way. How did your support grow? Like, was it a time that you just was like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to feed all these people, but this is something that my baby wants to do. So I know, God, you're going to make a way. Like, what help did you get with that?
We still go through that. To be honest, we still go through that. We
Yeah.
don't have the sponsors like big name companies, but we do have two major people, David Bird and Patricia Harris. I can look when it comes time for stuff, they reach out to us and ask us like, what do we need? How many students and this and that. And then his name is Tony Morrison. He used to play for the Yankees. He was a pitcher for the Yankees. He's here now in Osmar. He's a baseball and softball coach, trainer. He adopted a couple families for Christmas. So we have a few people that we can depend on, but other than that, we still go through how we're gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
Um, and then we get extra people at the last minute that needs help, and I don't know how to say no. My daughter don't. She will not say no. So we just make it happen. It's to the point that yes, she's in college. She's in Florida Memorial University
All
in
right.
Miami.
Yeah.
And what she do in the summertime when she come home and work, all that money goes into the organ. She takes none of that money and do nothing for
Wow.
herself. So we use that. We try to do fundraisers. We ask for sponsorship because we are a nonprofit and we can get tax write-off. So it's different stuff that we do, but it's still hard.
Yeah, it's still hard. I think one of the beautiful things about this particular podcast is that this podcast spans beyond the numbers that we see at the top of the screen. It what I've noticed over this 3-year span of time, is that this podcast has been a blessing to several people. Like I've had people to reach out to me and say, "Hey, do you have the contact information still of the person that you had on such and such episode when they talked about?" And I would just give information. Like I love to just be a connector. Like a part of the reason that I said tag people in the comment section is because you never know who's watching. We have had people to tell us some things we've done on Facebook, and it's like, I didn't even think you were on my page, or I didn't even think you even saw that, because they're not going to like it. They're not going to comment. They may not even come into your inbox. They're going to wait until they see you to come to you and say something. So that's why I want you to share this podcast episode. I want you to tag people in the comment section, because we want to be able to keep this initiative going. Like with God on her side, like I have no doubt about anything, because if it's been able to run for 13 years, then I know he is going to sustain it for the longevity, like for the long run. But I know that there's someone watching, someone that knows someone that knows someone that knows someone, with these 6 degrees of separation, it's either 6 or 7 degrees of separation. Like you're only 6 people away from what you really want. So I truly believe in that. But yeah, tag people, definitely tell people about this podcast episode, this initiative that we have, because Erica's Angels Incorporated is doing an amazing work. It's changing lives, and we want to keep it up and running. So definitely I will make sure that I continue to promote that, Miss TC. And I just,
Thank you.
the one thing that we haven't covered is this doula services. And I am not going to scathe over that, madam. Like I'm not, not when you're the owner of it. So it is, oh my gosh, birth is a beautiful thing. It's like you, madam, get to see life. I cannot tell you how many times I used to sit and watch a baby like it was a baby story, like on Saturdays when it used to come on. I used to love to see like those natural births. So tell me, how on earth did you get into becoming a doula? And then tell
Okay,
people what a doula is, for those out there who don't know exactly what a doula does.
right. So I was um, introduced into doula because my sorority, Delta Chi Rho, we're not a D9, but we're out there, and that's one of our initiatives. And I was lucky enough for my sorority to pay for my training to become a doula, and it was like something that was very close to me, because for both of my kids, I had issues
Yeah.
as giving birth. My son, I almost died with him. He almost died. My
Wow.
daughter, when my daughter was born, she was blue. You might as well say she was dead. They had to work with her to bring her back. So with that, I wanted to help others. And what a doula is, we don't give birth, but what we do is we support and advocate for you. So we're there for you to make sure that the nurses and the doctors and you're getting treated right, and everything that needs to be done for you is being done. Your birth plan is going exactly the way you want it, not the way they want it to go. I'm there if you're dilating and you're not dilating like you need to. I'm gonna walk with you. We're gonna do stretches. We're gonna get on the birth ball. I'm there to support you and your partner in any way possible.
Mm-hmm. So for women who want to have home births, like they don't even want to go to the hospital, they want to do everything natural, what does that look like? What does that setup look like?
So that will you have a midwife, because the midwife will be the one to deliver. Again, I'm still there to support you in any way that you need. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be right there. If I gotta hold your leg, I gotta rub your back, whatever I gotta do to help support you and your partner, I'm there.
That's amazing. Like have you had a birth yet?
Whew, I've had two so far. The first one was a 41-hour labor,
Ooh. A
and
what?
I wouldn't. It was 41 hours, and when I tell you,
Who no
this young
ma'am?
lady,
Who
it was
no
her
ma'am?
first child. It was her first child, and
Woo!
when I tell you,
That's almost 2
she,
days, TC.
it was, and homegirl. When I tell you, She was she was my hero. She
Yeah.
took it in like a champ. She did her thing. And it was ladies across the room, the other room screaming. She was just grunting. She did not scream. She pushed. She did exactly. When I tell you she did that, I was so proud of her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other one, she spit that baby out. So it was like she just spit that one out. But the first one was a 41-hour labor.
That's
And
amazing.
I
That's
was there the
amazing.
whole time.
Yeah. The entire time.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you, like, in the same coworkers that I told you about, because she swears that I'm gonna have a little girl, and I'm like, girl, I will be 45 in October. Please don't wish that on me. Like, I don't even know what that looks like. Like, if first of all, like this ring is on the wrong finger. Number one, it needs to be on this finger, and that's what
That
I'm
part.
it's not on it's on the wrong finger. I love the ring. I really do. It needs to be on this finger, first of all. But it has to be, oh God. I can't even I literally can tell you the type of man that will get me to push out another baby, because the one thing about it is I can't tell you that I can't do it, because I still am working. I'm still functioning. But Lord, I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine. Right, Regina saying 41 hours. Whoo, I can not. I cannot fathom that. But I love everything about the birthing process. And ironically, like, I love the way it feels to be pregnant. Like, I loved all of that. But I did not like the hospital births. Like, if I had to do it all over again, I would enlist the services of a midwife and of a doula. And so those of you who are able to do it, I have someone that's fantastic with it right now, Miss TC, with her doula services. So definitely hit her up. I always try to connect one of my besties with people who are in that industry as well, because I know that she's going to be a phenomenal doula. You know, she's already gotten her certifications, etc. And I just cannot wait to the day that she's telling me I am delivering this baby, that baby, that baby. So Miss TC, I'm going to be connecting you with one of my besties who
Yes.
really wants to do this doula service venture, and she has a good thing going. So I would love to connect you to.
Yes,
um
please.
I'm amazed. Like, I'm wild. One thing I always tell people about when they ask me what my podcast is about, and I'm like, listen, this podcast is really about the power of the comeback. Um, First of all, Miss TC, do you feel like you've covered what you think your comeback story is?
Yes. I mean, like if it wasn't for God and the things that within the last 2 years, from losing my mom died in my arms, from my health, from my husband having 11 strokes and a heart attack, and now he have it's called frontal lobe dementia, for almost about to lose everything. So I just went back to work. I'm a teacher now at Eastside Preparatory Academy. Y'all check them out. We good.
Listen,
And
Lord, middle
if
school
it,
teacher too.
oh yes, but I love them. I love them. But if it wasn't for God, if it wasn't for Him, I would have lost it all, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And God bringing in the right people to help me through times that when I thought about giving up, when I thought about, not even thought about, when I have wrote my letter to everybody and thought about taking pills, and somebody called my phone. There was nobody but God.
Mm.
So I thank Him for putting the people in my life that I need. And I'm trying not to cry.
Cause I'm sitting here, ooh,
The people He brought into my life and placed there, and I didn't know why He placed them there. What He did, I thank Him for that. I thank Him for being great. I thank Him for I even thank him for all the trials and tribulations that he have put me through. I thank him for all the health issues that I'm going through, because if it wasn't for all the things that I'm going through and for what he have put on me, even though they say God won't put on you more than you can bear, at times I thought about it was too much. If it was not for all of this, I would not be the person that I am. And I thank him. I thank him for everything he have done in the past, the present, and in the future. I thank him right now for it, because God knows if it wasn't for him and everybody that's in my life at this present time, I would have been lost. I would have been gone. I would have took my life because I couldn't take it. I couldn't have
Right.
done this alone. Not alone. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't I have not come across a story yet. Even when I felt like someone has tried to not say his name, like what has tried to say that it's not God, or it's not because of they can't tell you that it is not because of a higher power, right? And
Right.
so I just there is no way. There is no way that you're going to do this without God. There is just no way. There's no convincing me of it. In 133 episodes, there is no convincing me that you are not going to do this without God. And what I tell people, I'm not saying that you are the most saved person, because I'm not. Like I say these things and I tell you what I feel, what I know to be true, that this is the formula for a comeback story. I am not perfect. I am not perfect. When I'm showing up and I feel that people don't think that I'm genuine, I check myself, because that's not me. That's not me at all. If you truly know me, you know that I am genuine. If I say that I'm going to help you, then I will. I even help you even when you don't think, even when you don't know that I'm helping you. I'm just that person. But one thing that I do know is that I have not crossed paths with someone who cannot say that if it were not for God, I wouldn't be here. You have to give homage to him. Like you said, in spite of your storm, in spite of all the hardships that you are going through, you are still standing because of him. And Miss TC, thank you so much for just driving that point home, in the last few minutes of this podcast episode. Like I truly I thank you for that, because it is by the grace of God. I truly thank you for being a testament of what you can continue to do in spite of. I thank you for all that you give to all the organizations that you are a part of, and even yourself, because all of the teachings that you're learning through, your doctorate that you're getting in alternative medicine, that's going to help the next person. That's going to help the next person. That's going to help the next person mentally. That's going to help the next person even spiritually. So definitely keep going, ma'am. Like I definitely will be praying for you continually, like even more so than what I have been doing. um if there's anything that you need help with, is there anything that you need help with, like immediate help with, that maybe my viewers, my listeners can assist you with in all of your efforts that you do to help others?
Right now, if you just go onto our Facebook page, which is Erica's Angels, we always posting what we're doing, what we need help. Um, and that's and also on Instagram. Look in those two places and also follow us, friend us, so that way you can get updates on different stuff that we're doing, because it might be something that can help somebody that you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, if you come to um my podcast event, I am going to make an announcement in front of everybody there to do so. Like I'm so big about this thing of when we are in the moment. Like when we are in the moment, pull out your phone right now. Log on to Facebook, look up Erica's Angels, and follow them. And then share it with all of your friends. Like I am so about just doing that in real time. Like this is just truly what I feel that we have to start doing for one another. That's a huge form of support, because we all know the social media game, that's currency. The followers are the currency. The followers are what get you the resources that you really, really need. And so I do want to say that I do have a winner for Miss TC. You got Miss Barbara saying that you got her crying. Miss Barbara is saying, Miss Barbara Sharman is saying, look, you got me on here crying. And so, like
That's my friend from Georgia. Like I
that's
went
your friend
to
from Georgia?
we went to college together. We did the criminal justice forensic science together. Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. All right, Georgia's checking in. I know that's
Yes.
right. Listen, I told you, you never know. You
Yes.
never know who is going to be watching. You never know. I'm gonna read something that TC said. I'm sorry, that Brittany said. Who's on our glam board? Brittany said, "Your smile shines so bright. God will continue to cover you. You are such a blessing and peace to be around." That's some beautiful words right
Thank
there.
you.
That's some beautiful
Thank
words right there, Miss
you.
TC.
Yes.
So we just have a lot of people that are saying, but God, and thank you, Regina, for checking in. Thank you, Cherry, for checking in. Thank you, Edwina, for tagging people. Natalie, thank you so much for tuning in. I can't go way up, but there's been a lot of people that have been on the live and making comments. And so I've been paying attention to the people who've been commenting, who've tagged people, who shared it. And so what I am going to do, thank you, those of you who are watching over on IG. I can see IG, but I can't see YouTube right now. So I do see Pure Joy has checked in. Patricia Thomas is watching. Ben is watching. Thank you guys. I truly appreciate, you for supporting this podcast. I truly do. So without further ado, I'm going to announce the winner of those 2 tickets to my podcast anniversary live show going down November 9th from noon to 5 p.m. at the Well in Lakeland, Florida. So Miss Cherry Rampkison, you are the winner of those 2 tickets. So Cherry, thank you so much for tuning in. I will be inboxing you to get your information, but you are on the list. And so I want you to bring a guest, but I want you to make sure that guest brings a guest and the other guests and all of that. And so if you want your tickets, make sure that you log on to eventbrite.com. The link will be available for you after this podcast. If you're following me on Jazzie Conversations with Jazz on Facebook, IG, and also on YouTube, you will be able to get that link to Eventbrite. But if you go on eventbrite.com and just type in the search button 3-year podcast anniversary live show for Jazzie Conversations with Jazz, that's Jazzie, it'll take you right there. You got it. And so, Miss TC, do you have any final words that you want to say to my Jazzie crew out there? Is it a word of inspiration that you want to leave, or just something you want to leave us with?
Yes. No matter what you're going through, it might seem tough. Might feel like you're at your low end. Always just give it to God. Put God first. Leave it there. Keep going. Keep a smile on your face. Keep your
Yeah,
head lifted up, and don't let nobody put you down.
absolutely. Powerful words. We will definitely end on that. And so listen, I need you back here, same time, same place, next Monday, for episode 134. Make sure that you are subscribing, you are following all of my podcast platforms, which include your favorite podcast streaming platforms, and also Facebook, IG, and YouTube. Follow me at Jazzie, Jazzie, Conversations with Jazz. Make sure that you are a part of my Jazzie crew. All you have to do is make sure you like, share, follow, and leave a review in the comments. Those reviews mean a lot to me. And so until the next time, thank you so much, Miss TC, for being my special guest. I finally got a chance, an intimate time to speak with you. And I just thank you for all of the work that you are doing. I will see you guys back here on next Monday. Have a great night. See you later, Miss TC.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.